that root cause analysis. So we're going to do a little bit on root cause analysis, then we're going to do an exercise, and then we'll be about done. Okay? So who has heard of root cause analysis? Hands up. How would anybody, did you have your hand up? Because I'm going to pick on you now. How would you define, what would you describe root cause analysis as?
It's a process that we need to do when we identify an issue, but we need to find out what are the roots, what has caused all of this.
What's the real?
Yes.
Exactly. What's the real cause? Not get confused by technology, not get confused by people saying, oh, this always happens. You might have heard this, people saying, my mum always has this problem with it. Yeah, well, always? Oh, it's happened hundreds of times. Yeah. When you do root cause analysis, you find that it happened twice ever, and both times she never followed the rules, But it's grown into a big myth that it's happened hundreds of times. And I know loads of friends who've got that problem as well. And it suddenly becomes like, the world is going to end. Okay, so root cause analysis, it's like in medicine. If you went up to a doctor and you went, my wrist really hurts, some painkillers, but actually it needs to be x-rayed and the bone, because you've broken it, and it needs to be set, and it needs to be put in a cast for the next 2 months. That was the real root cause. So you don't want to be treating the symptoms with painkillers. You don't want to be fix the data, because you'll keep fixing the data, and we'll see that zigzag, yeah? Okay, so that's what root cause analysis is saying. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to identify what happened, why it happened, and what we need to do to reduce the probability of that happening again. You're going to get these slides, so this is why I'm zipping through it. There's 3 basic types of causes: physical cause, human cause, and organizational cause. And a spoiler alert, pretty much all the time, the real cause is which one of these? Human. Yeah. So, I'm afraid to say, you are the problem. Okay? So, no problem at all. Anytime you like. So, people are the problem. Okay. So, you can see that, you can see the example there, tangible, the car's brakes stopped working. What was the human thing? Nobody filled the brake fluid, nobody replaced the disc pads, they were worn out. What was the organizational cause? Nobody was responsible, there wasn't a process for doing it. Well, who would have defined the process? A human, so the answer's human, Okay, so these are the steps. First, define the problem, there's lots of ways of doing that. Collect the data. This is to get away from, my mum and all her friends have got this. So it's actually collect the evidence. What's the proof? How long has it lasted? What's the impact? Identify the possible causal factors. Okay, so what really happened? Is there a sequence? Is there any other thing? And there's many, many ways of doing it. And we're going to look at this called 5 whys. Has anybody seen this before, the 5 whys? It's really cool, actually. Have you done it? Look at the sniper. Yeah? You know it. So should we get Ali to present this bit? Do you want to do the next one? Okay. Okay. Then we identify the real root cause. Is that the end? No, because what have we missed? Yeah, what do we do? Okay, exactly. So of course, we've got to look at the real root. Yeah, the real root cause, and then we've got to recommend and implement, solutions. So we'll skip that. Let's have a look at a couple of examples. So in this example, customers received incorrect information in a mailing, and the organisation had some kind of regulatory breach. Because I'm being recorded, I'm not going to give the real details behind this. So the dates are made up. It's just to try and sort of indicate a sequence of time. So why did customers receive incorrect information? So we do 5 whys. Why did customers receive incorrect information? The advisor didn't have a full understanding of what content had to go out. Why didn't the advisor have full understanding of the content that had to go out to the customers? Because the training material that the advisor had received had contradictory messages in it. Okay? Why did the training material have contradicting messages? The process had changed, but the training material hadn't been updated and signed off by the responsible manager. Why hadn't the manager signed off that the change process was now in the training material? Well, the manager was not aware that this was their responsibility. Why wasn't the manager aware that this was their responsibility? The manager was new and had not received any handover of responsibilities, and/or the handover they got didn't say about the processes and the training. So now we've kind of got to the real cause, because otherwise it might have been, let's go and beat up the poor little admin girl, who sent stuff out. Yeah? So we've got to the real cause. Then, in a longer course, we'd go through what sort of remedial actions do we do. So what's the root cause? People. Told you it's always people. Okay. The process wasn't followed. What's an action plan to prevent the reoccurrence? Team managers be made aware. Make sure that there's a good handover, and let's also catch anything that might have slipped through the net, because clearly there's been a problem with the training. So let's catch stuff that slipped through the net and look at the existing training material to make sure that other stuff hasn't gone there, and we can have evidence. So there's a nice little example. Exercise then end. Yeah. Okay, ready? Then you can go home, but you can't go home unless you do the exercise. Who's ever seen Ghostbusters? Anybody seen the movie Ghostbusters? Yeah? Okay, so we've got here a brand new game called Data Quality Mythbusters. Ooh. That wasn't very good, was it? Okay, so we could start. Are you ready to play Mythbusters? Yes, okay. So I've got 9 things here, and it's either red, so it's a myth. Amber, it depends, okay? And green, no, that was true. It's not a myth at all. So you get it? So we're going to do this side. No, should we do men versus ladies? Yeah, let's do that. We're going to do men versus ladies. Ali, keep a score, okay? Because this is, okay? So you keep a score. Yeah. Men, ladies. And there's going to be a maximum of 9. Right, there you go. Right, number 1. Generic data quality does not matter so long as data is fit for purpose. So generic data quality is the indicators and stuff. So it doesn't matter, notice there's a negative, it doesn't matter so long as the data is fit for purpose. Who thinks that's a myth? Okay, myth. Who thinks it depends? Okay, and who thinks it's true? Okay, well, there's more men saying true than there were on the it depends. Okay, ladies, you can have your final choice. So, true, it depends, myth. True. Okay. Well, it depends if it's true. What do you think they said? You go for it depends. Okay, you go it depends, and you went for true. Yeah. Okay, and it depends. 1 point to the ladies. Okay, so Yeah, sure, it's true that data has to be fit for purpose, but you don't always know what the purposes are going to be. So you have to give these data quality scores, this generic data quality scores, so that people can go in with their eyes open and use it later. Okay, got it? Right. Number 2, data quality management requires ladies, true, false, it depends. Ooh, actually there was 3, it depends. Yeah, there was 3, it depends, and you guys were true. No, you were it depends as well, yeah. And the answer is, it's false! I know you said that. Okay, so data quality management, sure, it's useful to have technology, but you don't have to have tons and tons and tons. Yeah, I'm sure Informatica and I'm sure Trillium would not be very happy for me saying this. But you can get a long way with basic technologies. I know people who've done stuff just with SQL, just with Excel, but getting the processes, getting the rules, the guidelines, that's the important thing. But you can only go so far. Okay, so sure, you need to have it, but it's not significant. Okay, so number 3, the business owns the data. So in data governance, if you heard me speak before, and you know, okay, the business owns the data, so quality is their problem. Who says true? Who says false? Who says it depends? Okay, men have got it depends. Ladies, true, false, it depends. So you got you had more falses. So they were false and it depends. And it's false. Okay, so the business does own the data, but it's not entirely their problem. They own it. They are ultimately accountable, but there's lots of people who are responsible. IT have got a very significant role to play. Okay, so it's not just dump it all on the business. So look at this, 2-0, and we're not even at half time yet. Okay, right, yeah, everybody has to play a part in making it happen, including IT. Yeah. Yes.
Some say that the hospital owns it, others say that they share it with the patient.
Yeah.
Others say that they as well.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be very much kind of focused on the data types. Yeah. Right, number 4. Organizations should aim for 100% accuracy in their data. Who says true? Who says false? Who says it depends? Okay, everybody had false then. Everybody had false. And I was going to say, that's correct, that's right. It's a myth, it's false. So you don't have to aim for 100%. It's, if you've got to prepare against, a stationary target, fine, but your target has got to be based upon what's appropriate for your business. So, you can be sure it's not 100% accurate. That's not the target. Okay, number 5, data warehouses. So we're at the end of the food chain with data warehouses. Data warehouses provide the ideal starting point for a data quality initiative. True. False. You guys are not putting your hands up at all. Okay, and it depends. Okay, so you had false. I didn't see very many hands. You were all being a bit kind of quiet. So ladies, true? False? False. So both false. Both false. It depends. So it depends. You see, it's not the ideal, because the ideal starting point is your source systems. Okay? So source systems is the really ideal bit. Data warehouses, however, are why I put this picture up, food chain. It says the accumulation of mercury in the food chain. So the supreme predator animals, they eat smaller animals, they eat smaller animals, they eat smaller, and all the poisons, all the nasty stuff appears in the birds and the mammals and the birds of prey and the big hunting animals. So they see all of that poison in them that all started down here. So who runs the data warehouse here? Anyone? So you get all the poison. Congratulations.
Actually, honestly, my main purpose to attend because I just want to understand what the relation to data quality and therefore
there you go.
in order to achieve the PI.
Yeah. So your data warehouse is seeing all of that poison, all of that mercury, all of that nasty stuff in the data warehouse. And it hasn't got a lot of control itself, but what it can do is it can now start to identify where the problems were further back downstream. Okay? So it's good for being able to identify that there were problems and to prioritize and highlight where they were. But it's by no means the ideal place. That's why we said partly true. Okay, what's the score so far? 1-3, and there's 4 more to go. Okay, full validation at the point of entry will ensure accurate data. We hear this in the bank right now. We're hearing this. Full validation when I enter the data is going to ensure accurate data. False, big falses here. Trues or true, false, it depends, men. So men, true. False. Hands. False. It depends. So there's 2, it's false, falses. So false and false. And it's false. Okay? Don't forget, what did I say about validity isn't accuracy? Read the quiz question. Full validation ensures accurate data. No, it doesn't. It ensures validated data. It doesn't ensure accurate data. Yeah? Okay? Happy? It's not a trick. You might think it's a horrible trick, but it's not. Validating the data gives you validated data. It doesn't give you accurate data. Okay? I've got lots and lots of male pregnant. Okay? They're perfectly valid. Valid gender, valid medical condition. Is it accurate? Hell no. Okay? Like Riyadh, Ohio. Valid state, valid city. Okay? So definitely false. I think they got a goal each there, didn't they? A point each. Trying to tackle data quality before data governance is totally pointless. True. Oh, and you're doing that as well. Okay, the double point. Okay. Anyone else? So men, true. False. It depends. It depends. Ladies, true. Put your hand up. Okay. False. Hand up. It depends. So you've got a true and a true and it depends. And it's an it depends. You've got 1 back. Okay. It depends. So it's correct that you need to have some degree of data governance. You need to have a adequate degree of data governance to make it sustainable, but you don't have to wait until it's a done deal with all of your data governance. In fact, the most successful programs with data quality run the data governance in parallel. Okay? So you've lost a point there. Right. The financial impact of poor data quality is clear. So hands up so ladies, hands up for true. Okay, false. It depends. So you were mostly on true, weren't they? Okay. Men, true. False. It depends. So there was a majority for it depends. So there was a true and it depends. It's false. It's actually false. It's absolutely far from clear. If the financial impact of poor data quality was dead clear, Why would people like me have to be talking about it time after time after time after time after time? It's absolutely not clear. It's really complicated. There's lots of benefits in terms of decision making and improved productivity, but in terms of the financial benefits, it really isn't clear. And that's I know you're looking puzzled. That's why you need to hire consultants. If it was clear, everybody would be doing it. Believe me, it's far from clear. Right, last one. Master data management cannot succeed without data quality. Ladies, true or true? False. It depends. So they've gone for true. Men, true. Oh, lots of trues. Okay, hang on. Men, false. Okay, and men, it depends. Oh, what did you think? That was between true and it depends. I think true. I think that was both true. I think you both had true. And yes, it's completely true. The world is littered with disasters where people have put master data technology in, customer master data or product master data, and they haven't had the associated data quality. And, by the way, they haven't had the associated data governance that goes in parallel. But they've got a really amazing tool. They've spent tons of money on a fantastic tool, but it hasn't worked, which is why the fabulous quote there, "A fool with a tool is still a fool." Okay, so here's a bunch of common mistakes. Confusing validity with accuracy, treating it as a one-time activity, fixing the data at this point rather than going back to the source, etc. And with big data, we've not talked about big data, thinking that magic happens with big data. You can throw big data into a lake and then some magic stuff will happen, but we don't have to do quality. Because there's some people who believe that. Okay. So these are some very common mistakes. That's it, my friends. So I hope you before I need to run and catch a plane. And you've got the contact details, wherever they are.
And we will send these.
I'll just. There's about 2 I need to redact slightly.
Thank you very much, guys. Please give us your feedback or comments in Twitter or anything.
Yeah, and do lots more twitting. Tweet. Okay, good. Thank you, guys. And thank you, ladies. And did we say who won, by the way? So the ladies, you won.